Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is your brother, Jay International, tapping back in once again. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. So with that being said, what I want to talk about today, what I want to talk about in this video is how fake and trash this reality is that we currently live in, and how I'm ready to check out. Now, when I say I'm ready to check out, I don't mean in a physical sense, per se. But what I mean is that it's just so much fakeness in this reality. Some people would call this the Matrix. It's so much fakeness in this reality that we currently live, man. There's so much fake, so many fake people that know they're fake, know that all this stuff is fake, but they still exist like it's real. It's like there's just like a bunch of actors. And I guess that quote where they said the world is a stage, I guess that's really true. The world is a stage. And it's like everybody is an actor. Nobody's real. You know, I'm looking at this Diddy case, right? And it really upsets me, right? At this point now, 6 days into this case, and I've been following this case. One second, y'all. I've been following this case 6 days into this case, and with Casey's testimony, they're pulling up all their texts, all the texts that her and Diddy had with each other. And it's really showing you how much that more like these charges of trafficking and racketeering and all this BS, right? How much this is just a relationship of two individuals that had a lot of wild, explicit sexual activities with each other. And it's showing how both parties were willing participants. Just from looking at Casey's text to Diddy, how much she wanted to be with this man, how much she enjoyed this lifestyle, how much she wanted to engage in these FOs, you know, freak offs. It's showing clearly how much she professed her love for this man. She said, "I love you," in text. He said, "I love you back." How much she enjoyed the lifestyle and all the opportunities that she was supposedly this prisoner, but all the opportunities that she had to leave this man, but she chose to stay around him. Even friends telling her leave one, and she's like, no. How much she, you know, in certain texts, she instigated the freak offs. She said, "Hey, I want to freak off so bad," that she, you know, it's just showing. And yet and still, this case is still going on, and you got black people, you know, that are, I can understand the whites, right? I can understand them, because this is a design to take a powerful black male down. This is all this is about. Look at the Mann Act. The Mann Act was created, which is what the RICO is off of, or the sex trafficking is off of, because Jack Johnson, who was a one of the best black boxers at that time, like the only one, the heavyweight champion, was knocking out white boys left and right, and they couldn't deal with that, because at this time they didn't allow blacks to box. But at this time they allowed Jack Johnson to come and do his thing, right? And he was showing how strong and powerful the black man is. He was knocking out the white boys, and he was taking their women. Not taking them forcibly, but he was this strong black big black man, and he was knocking out the white man, and the women were like, I want him. The white women were throwing themselves at these black men, at this black man. And because they were throwing themselves at this black man, like they did in slavery times, just like the master wife snuck into the barn to lay up with the big black bucks. That's what she did. She's now doing it with this black superstar heavyweight. And naturally, get this, naturally, when you start to get money and you start to get access, he was traveling. And he's not traveling alone. He's going to travel with his white women that were willing participants. And guess what? So to stop this, just like the system has always done in terms of black Americans, when we start to do something, look at what happened with the Black Panthers in Oakland, where I'm from, when Huey Newton and Bobby Seale read the laws and read that it was allowed to carry weapons, that you could carry weapons. I think it's the Second Amendment right? That they were allowed to carry weapons. And what happened? They started to exercise that constitutional right. And when they started to exercise that constitutional right, and they marched to the capital of California in Sacramento with their weapons to let them know, hey, we're not going to take this police brutality no more. We're not going to take this abuse no more. We're going to show power. We're going to show we're willing to defend ourselves with our weapons. Guess what? That law was changed overnight. Now you need all this. Now it's so complicated in the state of California to own a gun. You know, you got to jump to all these loopholes and whatnot. But guess what? But when black males exercise that right, that was in the Constitution for them to do, they changed the laws. And the same thing with this, with Jack Johnson and the Mann Act. When a black man said, okay, well, hey, you know, I got this money, I got this, these women want to be, white women want to be with me, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to travel with my white woman. And they said, okay, you traveling with this white woman, that's against the law now. That's the Mann Act. And that's all this is, right? A powerful black male who was exercising his will. All these women wanted to be with him. Nobody was a victim. Nobody was held against their will. They all wanted that lifestyle. Because who wants to live this lifestyle, right? If you can travel in private jets, and you can have your cars bought for you, and your own houses bought for you, and your own waiting staff for you that answers to your every whim, and you don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to go to no dead-end ass job like you see everybody else is doing, right? Because meanwhile, you live in this lifestyle, you got family members and you got friends that you see that has to get up and go and be a wage slave. And you're like, hell no, I don't want to go back to that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I got to do to stay with this man, I'm going to do it, because I don't want to go back to that. All right, I don't want to experience what they got to go through, barely surviving what we got to go through, right? So I look at this and I say, this is just all fake. It's fake, and it's all, they're acting like these moral police and whatnot, and that, oh, this man is so bad and this, that, and the other. No, he is a man that has wealth, that wanted to enjoy his wealth, wanted to enjoy the finer things of life that only the wealthy get to enjoy, in private jets, trips to Turk and Caicos and all these exotic places, and access to the most beautiful women. Like, the average male would never get to enjoy that unless they become wealthy. But they want to paint the picture like he's just this big bad wolf and this, that, and the other, and they're acting, and everybody's acting like moral police. It's BS, man. It's BS. And that just tells you how fake this world is. How fake this world is, when you got to go into work every day and smile at people that you don't even like. But you got to smile and put on an act and act like you like these individuals. But you know you don't like these individuals. When everybody got to put on this act like they just can't be themselves. That's why it's individuals like me that we are really diamonds in the rough. We are one of the kind because there's not a lot of real people around that just tell it like it is, that just exists and tell it like it is, and they don't want to sugarcoat nothing. They don't want to act like there's something else. That like there's not many authentic individuals right now in this world. It's a bunch of billions and billions of fake individuals in this fake ass reality. Some would call it the Matrix. When you watch the Matrix movie, and when people took the red pill and they woken up to how fake this world is, how fake this reality is, and they realized they were in a matrix. And then you had some people, like the guy gave, he said he was like, you know what, I'm willing to take this blue pill because ignorance is bliss. To live in reality and to know the truth is hard, but to be ignorant of it is blissful. So when I say I'm ready to check out, I'm ready to check out of this fakeness. You know, hell, if I gotta go to live in a forest and live off the grid, like they said, to live off the grid and go to a forest and just be by myself, you know, just to be away from this fakeness, this fake ass reality of fake people, fake individuals. Nobody's real. Everybody's putting on the front. You know, I might be ready. I might be willing to do that, just to go off the grid, just to live in a forest where everything is real. You know, when you go to a forest, or a jungle or whatever, you're gonna see this is the reality of life. There are things in this forest that's willing to eat you. There are bugs that would take you out with one bite or one sting. You know, it's the reality of this reality. And when we're in this fake world, you don't get to see that. You get to see a bunch of fake smiles, fake people. Everybody wants to pretend like that they're the moral high ground, or that they're the epiphany of what is right to be right. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just BS, man. So with that being said, this is your brother Jay International, tapping back in once again. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, and I will holler at y'all later. Peace.